What up to my peoples, and welcome to Retro Crunch, your number one source for retro pop culture and news. And to start off this week's retro news, earlier this year Disney Plus announced that they're producing a new TV series that's inspired by the classic 80s film The Goonies, and it's titled Our Time. So the story centers on a teacher who helps the students recreate the Richard Donner directed movie The Goonies shot for shot. While I am really excited for this thing to be made, I really am. But I thought that you guys might be interested to know that this series that's going to be coming out is actually based on another movie besides The Goonies. So unless you've been under a rock, you know about the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark. And what ties these two movies together is that back in the 1980s, some boys decided to make a shot-for-shot film remake of Raiders of the Lost Ark. The fan film, which many aren't really familiar with, it's actually titled Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Adaptation. It was finally released in 1989 after 6 years of production, utilizing everything that the creators could find in their backyards, their garages, or that they could get loaned from their friends. The fan film, it was later released in 2014 in a Kickstarter campaign where it went on to receive a lot of praise at festivals and within the Indiana Jones fan circles. Also, there's even a movie about the making of the adaptation called Raiders, which follows the creators as they complete the final scene in their film decades later, and if you want to check that out, I'll link to that down below. But getting back to the Goonies show titled Our Time. So this show is going to follow the same style that Raiders of the Lost Ark, the adaptation film did, but this time it's going to be produced by Warner Brothers, and it's going to stream on Disney Plus, so that's a big boost. Currently, the series is still under development, and Disney hasn't made any official announcement about the project, but I'm pretty hopeful it's going to be made. However, the show's writer, Sarah Watson, she provided some detail on the series concept and how they got the idea from the Raiders film. And she talked about this in an interview with Variety. She said, "This is a partnership between me, Amblin, and Lauren Schuler Donner. When I was at Paramount, there were these young boys doing this movie about Raiders of the Lost Ark, a shot-by-shot remake. It got some press at the time, and the studio was very upset about it. I thought it was an amazing idea, and it always stood in my head of how can you take an idea like that and turn it into a TV series? We needed a terrific writer and great partners, so we brought the idea to Amblin, and those guys loved it." Sarah Watson is our creator. The series is a story of a town and a family in the lens of Friday Night Lights, and within that, they tell a story of a shot-by-shot remake of The Goonies. We had to go to Warner Brothers, to Toby Emmerich, and ask if we could have the rights. They said yes. Obviously, because of Mr. Spielberg and the Donners, we're now doing this for Disney Plus. Although we don't have a lot to go on for Our Time yet, I'll link to where you can watch the Raiders documentary about the fan film that the boys made, just to tide you over. Let's just hope Disney and Warner Brothers get going pretty soon on making Our Time, because it's definitely time for another Goonies comeback. And moving on to our next retro news real quick, a documentary about the life and legacy of John Candy, it's being made. Ryan Reynolds, he posted a tweet on October 10th saying that he and Colin Hanks are going to be producing this documentary. I'm anxious to see this. I love John Candy. I think my favorite movie ever made by him, not Stripes. Probably Uncle Buck, but let me know what you guys think and what your favorite movie from John Candy is. And then next up, if you grew up watching martial arts movies in the 80s, you definitely saw Kickboxer. It starred Jean-Claude Van Damme. It was one of the best martial arts movies ever made. This was just a great flick. It was a huge hit in 1989 and went on to spawn a franchise of 7 films total. Even though Jean-Claude Van Damme as Kurt Sloan, he was only in 3 of the movies in the franchise. Anyways, getting back to Kickboxer. So it was announced that a new TV show called Operation Kickboxer is actually in the works. The show is going to be a martial arts driven espionage series that finds the youngest Sloan brother, Michael, thrust into the world of international geopolitical intrigue. In order to earn his freedom, Sloan must undergo an undercover operation as an MMA contender, using his clout to gain access to targets around the world while remaining in contention for the championship title belt. With the popularity of Cobra Kai and some interest in martial arts right now, I could definitely see people interested in this show, but without Jean-Claude Van Damme as Kurt Sloan, I'm just not sure if I'm going to watch it. But let me know what you think about this news. Did you like the original Kickboxer when it came out? I would love to hear some of you guys' stories. And then CNN reported that someone paid $87,000 at an auction for a pair of Levi jeans from the 1880s. Apparently these jeans were found in a cave somewhere. I thought this was a really interesting story, so I linked to it down below. And then two more things just real quick. So the official Star Wars encyclopedia is here. This is not your father's Encyclopedia Britannica. If you wanted to know just about everything there is to know about Star Wars, there's a complete 91 book set that you can pick up, and it'll make you the most knowledgeable Star Wars fan around. And last up, on October 18th, E.T.'s 40th anniversary Steelbook set is going to be going on sale. Of course, I had to tell you guys about this. This set has some never before seen footage in it. Also, you get a retro lunch pail with it. Oh, and there's a few different versions out there if you want to buy them. One's from Target, one's from Amazon, and then Walmart. So if you're looking to have all three of these, it's probably going to cost you a pretty penny. And that's your retro news for the week. If you're into retro news and nostalgia stuff from back in the day, I'll see you in the next video. I'll catch you on the flip side. And remember, if it ain't retro, it ain't worth watching.